Everybody, my name is Calvin Cox and welcome to Style Apple 5-Minute Portfolio Review. What we do is select a designer from the Style Apple network and review his or her design portfolio within 5 minutes, which is quite a bit of time considering that your average client or customer takes about 2 seconds before deciding whether or not to browse your design portfolio. If you haven't heard of us, if you haven't heard of Style Apple, we are a social marketing utility for design companies, where we help designers and design agencies get exposure and find new leads, basically. So if you haven't done so already, you should definitely check us out and create a profile for yourself or your company. So let's get started. Today we're going to review Jonathan Smith's external portfolio. Let's find Jonathan here. Jonathan is an industrial designer from Texas, I believe. His portfolio should be here. Here it is. So we go into the Style Apple profile, you go to contacts, and on the web takes you to his external portfolio. Now right off the bat, there's a few things I like about Jonathan's portfolio. It's very straightforward, it's very easy, it's very simple. Simple is good, simple is not necessarily bad even for a designer, because a lot of companies, a lot of clients want to see what you have on your portfolio, make a decision very quickly whether or not to consider you for any projects. So what Jonathan does in the beginning here is he introduces himself, a little bit about his background, his history in design. And then on the bottom, on the lower part of the website, you find about maybe 10 to 13 featured projects that he's created, that he's worked on. Clicking on one of the thumbnails here, you see that Jonathan, what he does that I think is very creative and very smart, is that he goes through some sort of a thought process that he takes as he's designing, and he outlines this so a potential client can actually go through it with him. In the beginning, page 1, he also outlines the project details. A lot of times you see if you go on to a designer's portfolio, you see a lot of images, not a lot of content, not a lot of explanation of what's going on. And Jonathan does a great job in kind of outlining, segmenting different areas of the process so that it can be easily explained to the client or someone that's looking at his portfolio. And then toward the end, you see the integration or the implementation of the project from step 1 to step 8. And he does that with all his projects, which I think is pretty amazing. Another great project to look at is the crutches project. And he redesigned the crutches to make it more user friendly for people that are mobile, like using your crutches when you're going, when you're driving and so on and so forth. He outlines the project, predecessors, talk about the process, some of his ideas that he's jotted down, gives some 3D illustrations of the project, and then an actual illustration of it being used. I think it's a really great and effective way to keep a client on your website as you're trying to show them that you're capable on working on their project as well. Jonathan also has a blog, which I would recommend for any designer who's serious about building a business and finding new clients. And again, very detailed, great images, content describing what the process is, and this is something that I would want to read because everything is well done here. So again, a great way to approach maximizing your efforts online with your design portfolio. One thing though that I would probably do a little different if you click on contacts here, it takes you to an email application, basically having you send an email, the customer or client send an email to Jonathan. Instead, I would prefer to have this particular link click and move to another page on Jonathan's website, which allows for more or continued communication with the client, maybe a contact form, or maybe a way to basically call him directly, or even leave comments or feedback for his projects. This way, you don't leave the client hanging. You kind of complete the sales process until the phone call, because you want them to call you. Other than that, this is a great website. I think it's very simple, very creative. The creativity in his projects, the creativity of the portfolio comes when he's explaining his projects, which is the most important thing anyway. And I think he did an amazing job. This is someone I would definitely recommend to take a second look at if I was looking for an industrial designer. And Jonathan is our design portfolio of the day, and he did a great job even on the StyleApple website. The way that he sets up his portfolio, it's obvious that he's a professional and really wants to do his job. And this is Calvin Cox signing off for a 5-minute portfolio review. Until next time, bye.